Hello and welcome to Stampin' on the Hill. I'm Deb Keyes and I'm here to show you the 3 different cards and how I make them for the July card class. If you registered, thank you. And if you didn't, go ahead and watch the video anyway, and maybe you'll want to register for the next class. I try to make them a little bit simple and then throw in a fun fold at the same time. So there's a mix of simplicity, I guess, if you will. Today's fun fold is a very simple fun fold, but we'll get to that one probably last. So let's jump down. We are using the Scalloped Blooms bundle. So the stamp set is mostly just words, and then the dies that come with it as a bundle have all of these options. And I was so excited to play with these options. So let me show you, put these away here a minute. Let me show you the card. This is the first card we're making. And I think what I'm doing is giving you both options. This is the hydrangea hue, one of the new in colors. But I also thought I would throw in the crisp cantaloupe as an option too. So in your card kit, you'll probably get one of each color. All right, let's put this aside and let's start. I've got my card base. I always like to get everything ready first, Get my card base all together, use my bone folder, and make sure that, and then I always like to find out which way is easier, this way or this way to open it. I think I was better off with this one. Okay, and then I've got a piece of linen thread here and some pieces that we're going, this is the Cantaloupe Crisp Designer Series paper. It's got a small print on the back. It's all plaid, and then a wider plaid. So a small plaid and a wider plaid. So either side. And these are in the in colors too. Let me double check my notes here a second so I can tell you exactly what the name of it is. It is the 2026-28 Gingham Gallery Designer Series paper. So then I also have a coordinating cantaloupe, crisp cantaloupe piece of Designer Series paper. These should already be cut for you. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So it'll layer nicely right here. And the first thing we're going to do is run that through. I'm using the Stone and Vine 3D folder for this. I will, if you order this virtually, I will definitely, those will come already pre-embossed. Okay, so we're going to, have you seen these new ink pads yet? They are so cool. I did a video on them, but anyway, they're so cool, the magnetic things. Anyhow, we're gonna run this through here first, and I just like to line it up with the line at the bottom here so that I make sure when there's a pattern that it ends up straight. And I'm going to run it through with my number 1 platform, and then the fold is going to go through my machine first, so that sets down here, and then the number 4 goes on the top. I like to just sort of dry fit everything first. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Can you see it? See if I can hold it up. That's so cool, isn't it? All right, so that's going to be a layer. This is going to go on here like this. And I don't know, maybe I'll end up using the small side. I kind of like the big side on this one. I used the small side or the small plaid on the other one. We're also going to cut out. I did this 2 different ways, and I decided I like it the second way better. So that's the way I'm going to show you. Maybe we'll use a piece that works. So I'm going to use some washi tape, and this is the Barely Blush color, which is also one of the new in colors. And I'm going to kind of try to line it up so that the frame ends up being equal all the way around. A little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not rocket science. And then we're also going to use this die for here. So let's get this put back together here. So I'm using the, for cutting, I'm using the platform number 1 and then the cutting shim, which is number 2. And then I'm going to use these are going to go on here like this. Can you see what I'm doing? And then the top number 3 plate. So you're sandwiching those in between. And then we'll run that through. Okay, so let's see. We've got this piece. And then because I washi taped this together, we'll try to get it off nice and gently. So we've got a small one, and then this ends up being a frame because we cut the smaller one out of the center. So garbage, put my dies away. We're going to stamp on, you can actually put these like this, it takes up less space. And then the lid stays with the ink. I haven't used this color yet, so hopefully it'll stamp okay. I'm gonna have a piece of scratch paper that I'm gonna use for something else. So I just want to make sure, because I haven't used this color yet, that it was going to ink it correctly. Always feel free to do that. I tell my people when they come to class, feel free to use that blotter paper. I'm gonna stamp this kind of higher up, not in the center. And I'm gonna make sure that it's as straight as I think I can get it with my head in the way. Okay, that's not bad. Did I put anything on the inside of this one? No, I did not. All right, so and just magnifies itself right back together, magnetizes itself back together. All right, so let's put our linen thread around here. You should have enough for both of your cards. And I'm just tying this in a knot. So, and I'm tying the knot off to the side here. Maybe. You know, it goes really well until it doesn't. It's hard to hold it and tie the knot at the same time, especially with this thin thread. But you could also, I have seen people, and I don't think to do this very often, but you could also put a glue dot right underneath where your knot's going to be, and that'll hold it still for you while you finish making that knot. I'm going to bring some scissors in and trim this a minute, if I can hold them. Wow. My fingers are having a hard time today, aren't they? All right. Are you a messy stamper? I find that I have like this big, huge mess when I'm finished, and then I'm not sure what I'm doing with it. All right, I think we're done with this, and I think all there is left to do right now is assemble. So, and here we go with the glue, praying that the glue works, right? All right, so this is going to go, make sure that it's right side up. This is going to go here. And I think I'm going to use this side. I'm going to put it this way instead. So you can do this however you like. There's no right or wrong way. And I'm going to put this just below center. So I'm eyeballing this is about center. And what I really want to have happen, I should have done that before I glued it, but what I really want to have happen is that the inside of this has a whole something to see through. All right. And of course, it doesn't have to actually be, the bottom and the sides don't have to actually be on the cantaloupe, but it has to not go over the edge of your card. So this will work. All right. I'm also going to actually glue the greeting down. And I'm going to put it here. Again, no right or wrong. personal preference. I'm going to also glue the outside of my flower frame. You'll notice in the instructions if you get them. And if you are coming to class, you will definitely get the written instructions. I want this to be a little bit on and a little bit off my designer series paper. So we're going to put that in there. And then what I did for this is I took my bone folder and I flipped it so that the rough edge, like this, when I cut it, it was this way in the emboss machine, cut and emboss machine. So, but I want to curl it toward itself. So I'm just going to flip it over and I'm just going to use my thumb, kind of like when you're curling ribbon with your scissors, same thing. And you could definitely try to use scissors for this, as long as you don't make it rip it. But so curl it up like this. And then I'm using just a glue dot to adhere that back into the center. So I'm just going to put a glue dot. Can you see it in there? And I like to press my project to the dot and then pull it off. And then I'm going to align this back in the same way that it came out. Push down in the center, and now this is going to curl a little bit. And so you get that little bit of, can you see the crisp cantaloupe underneath it? And then I ended up we're using the shimmering dots that I don't even know if they go with this or not, but I'm using shimmering dots. So I'm just going to use one small one. You will have gotten a whole full row of these. So use them however you like, but I'm using just one small one right in the center. And I feel like between the linen thread and that one small center, that's enough. I'm not even going to put that away because we're going to use them for the next project or maybe the one after. I can't remember. Anyway, so this is, and here's the other one. So now we have two that are very similar. And I'm going to clean up this mess and I will be right back with card number 2. Okay, so are we ready for card number 2? My camera looks crooked. I think that's a little better. Okay, so this is the card. It's in Coastal Cabana and white. And let's look at the products. Well, there's not a whole lot. This is pretty simple. Again, the white card base. So let's get that ready to go. My bone folder. And, yep, I want it that way. And then we're going to have, this is going to be a layer. We're not doing much with it. So that's just going to be a layer, outline kind of layer. This piece we're going to layer on here as well. And then we have one more piece that's the same that I forgot to grab. So hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I just grabbed a piece, but you will end up with 2 pieces that are the same size. Mine that I'm going to use for cutting is a little bit different, but yours will have 2 pieces the same size. So we're going to bring in all of these fun, not all of them, but these fun things. And there is in your written tutorial, I actually have a photo. I'm going to put these on this way. I actually have a photo of how you will lay these on here to maximize your space. And then this one's here, this one's here, and this one's here. You could probably squeeze them together a little bit if you needed this to use that space, but this is going to be good enough. I'm going to just cut out one of each of those 5. Oh, darn, look at that. It shifted. Let's see what else I missed. Darn. Okay. Well, if we can get one of these out of something else here. I probably, oh, I know why it didn't come with it in there, because I was going to cut them all for you. That's why. All right, let's cut one more with this other scrap piece that I had. That's why I don't have it in my instructions, because I'm going to cut it for you. Duh. All right. Let's try one more time. So you should get in your kit, if you do this virtually, you should get all of the pieces times 2, of course, because you're going to have enough to make 2 of everything, two of each of these cards. Move this aside. So we have all the pieces. So now I'm going to bring in this piece right here is going to be our greeting. So we're just going to stamp this first. And I'm going to choose, I brought in, where did it go? I brought in the banner sayings because it's such a little thing. There are some smaller greetings with the scalloped blooms, but I guess I kind of got tired of saying the same old little thing, you know, little being as many characters. So on here, I'm going to type celebrate, and then on the inside of my card, I've got a cue the confetti, it says. So we're going to cue the confetti on the inside. Okay. I like to always, when I'm doing mine, because I end up putting these in an envelope, I like to do the insides at the same time on just a piece of white paper. Because I sell them. And that way, when I put them in a clear envelope, the inside can show on the back. So anyway, all right, so then I'm going to take all of my other pieces. So this one's going to stay this way. I'm going to take all of these other 4 pieces, and I'm going to bring in 4 different embossing folders. So I'm using the Fern and Flora. I'm using Forever Plaid, Floral Spray, and the Stone and Vine I'm bringing back. So you can determine what things you want to be for what. I think I did one way, and I think I'm going to try this a different way this time. This ought to be cool. Can you see what I'm doing here? So we'll try one at a time, going through. Well, I have 2 of these cut and emboss machines, and when I'm working in my room, they're across the room, but I have one set up already for cutting and then one set up for embossing. And it makes it really nice that you don't have to change the plates back and forth. But, so there's that one. That's kind of cool. All right. And then let's set this aside so we don't reuse it again. And then let's see. Let's do this one in, let's go with this plaid. Let's see what that looks like. I just want the stripes to kind of be straight. Defeats the purpose if you can't make them straight, I guess. All right. And then we're going to put that in. This is going to be a little bit different than the one that I showed you, which is okay. I'm not sure if you ordered this class as a virtual. I'm not sure which order you're going to get these in, honestly, but I'm sure you're going to love it. So I'm going to put the little tag in here. And then can you hear it going? So the little tag, come on. And then I've got, this one is going to end up going up and down this, like with the scallop at the bottom. So I'm going to look for probably this one, and I'm going to make it be like right in the center. Can you even see that, what I'm doing? I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it. Anyway, if you don't have to do it yourself, you shouldn't need to worry about it, right? All right. This one. Anyway, I find that I am such a messy stamper that everything's all over and I have to stop and clean up like between projects or something like that because it just is a mess. All right, so then these are just going to all get glued down. All right, so we're going to start gluing with this one here. I'm going to start with the more square. It's not technically square, but more square little piece here. And I'm going to make sure that I've got the same kind of border around the top and the side. And that's probably about 1/4 of an inch. And then this is going to go under, well, I'm going to wait for that one. This one's going to go next to it. So I want to make sure that this one is the same. I've got the same border at the top and then the side, and that it's straight. My tag, I've got some white baker's twine, and I'm just going to put that through. I folded it in half, and let's hope it goes through. I kind of untwirled mine because I wanted it to look a little bit not so prim and proper. So it's untwirled. It's got like 3, what do you call them, strands in there. And these need to get trimmed down some too. There we go. And so this one's going to go underneath this other tall, skinny scallop. And again, I'm eyeballing left to right, trying to make it so that the edge lines up. And I have the same, oops, that did it. Have like the same border here, okay? That's all I'm trying to do. Then with this one, we're going to do this one next. I think I'm going to do it this way. It's not going to matter whether you feel like you like the debossed side instead. You're welcome to do that. And so this one I'm going to line up with the bottom of here and the edge over here. At least I'm going to try to. All right. And then my greeting, I'm going to put up on dimensionals. Dimensionals. And sure it goes this way. And then I'm still lining up this edge here. But I'm kind of going, so I waited for this one to be last because it's so skinny. So I want to eye the difference between the top and the bottom right here. This looks like it could go up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to move now. All right, so we're going to wing it. That looks good. Then we're going to come back in with our sparkly shimmering dots. That's what they're called. And I used the blue ones. And I'm going to use one big blue one here and a small blue one next to it. And then I'm going to put one more blue one in. I don't even know where to put it. Let's put it over here. That'll work. All right. So then this is going to get adhered to the coastal cabana layer. And I tried to, a lot of times I like to do like just 1/8 of an inch difference when I'm cutting. This one I tried to leave a bigger border around. Just so that because otherwise there's not much blue on it. That looks okay. So there you go. So I've got one and the other one. And you can tell that I did them differently. So I used different folders in different places, except for this one, because I really liked the longness of that one. Okay, let me clean this one up and I will, oh, it's crooked again. What the heck? Sorry, people. I'm so sorry. I must have shifted something with like shaking the table or something. That's a little bit better. All right, I will be right back. All right, we are back with the Fun Fold card number 3. Again, you will have gotten 2 of these, and I'm going to show you something that I missed when I made my sample. This is called a book binding kind of a fold. So you seal this section right here, and then it opens and you just have the square space to work with. So let's show you how I did that. We are going to start with this. This is half a sheet of paper still, but it goes the other way. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. And I have already scored it at 5 1/2, which is half, but we also want to score it at 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Yep, don't use the cutting blade, Deb. Yes, so here, and then that's gonna fold like this. So let's give that a crease so it'll fold backwards. It's kind of like a Z fold going on here. And then let's decorate first, and I'll show you the tip that I have for you. I'm using Melon Mambo ink, and I'm using a sponge dauber. All right. I had to sit down for this myself. So I'm going to take my sponge dauber, and I don't want to get ink on this little section right here. So I'm going to fold this over this way while I do this edge and the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to flip it around before I do the other edge. You know what? Let's just do this instead. Put this in here, and then it won't matter. So this is just random stamping. And I usually go in like a triangle kind of a shape. Just, you don't want it to look overly perfect. And I know when I'm usually doing random stamping, I usually turn the paper when I go, as I go. But in this particular case, it's still just a circle. So we're just going to give it a little bit here and there. And then on this side, okay, so this is going to open like this, right? So I didn't want to get ink on this section here. And then on the inside, I want to create just a little border down this side. So I'm going to go on, off, all the way down here. So when I pull this away, it'll just be random. And then I'm going to clean off my surface so I don't get ink all over the back of this thing. All right. So now that we've done that, we can, I think we're done with, oh no, we're not done with the ink. That's okay. So now that we've done that, we can glue this part down, which we are going to do, but we need to find our linen thread. I'm trying to think. This is the part that I messed up because I didn't add the linen thread until after I glued it together on mine, so you can see it in here. I really want the linen thread to go through this whole section right here. So let me think on this a second. But while we're doing that, I have the 1-inch piece of Melon Mambo that's going to go on this here. And I wanted to, we're going to use this floral spray folder again and just determine which way we want to look at it. What do you think? Should we There we go. New dogs are going crazy. We probably have an Amazon order or something coming. Okay. All right. So, oh, that's pretty. Okay, let's glue this down too while I'm at it. Come on. I leave the glue set out too long, it gets clogged up in there. If I screw it back together right away, it doesn't do that. All right, this should leave just equal border. It should be a 4x1 piece, I think, so it should leave an equal border around. If you don't push it too far in one direction, it'll leave it the right way. And here we go with the camera again. Dang it. Okay. I want to, where's my little pieces here? We're going to do some cutting. So let's get the cutting plate ready. We're cutting, let's see, we've got this one. Nope. This one and this one. So these are the two, double checking here, the two sizes that have the stitching along the scallops. All right, so we're going to put one in petal pink. I'm going to put it this way. So here's my petal pink one. All right, and I think for the, I have like just enough to get through, so I'm going to take it down a second. In this one, we are going to put it this end. I'm trying to get all this to go in the same, at the same time. So I'm pretty sure you can get the idea. These are beveled, so you don't want to, you want to make sure that none of your dies are actually on the bevel or it won't cut all the way through. So I wanted this one to be as close to this side as I could get it. And you can't see what I'm even doing. There we go. Okay, so we've got that and we've got this. And then we need one of these with our tag. Move that down. And then I'm also doing some leaves, which I lost because I put the dies someplace. Oh, they're right here. Duh. Okay. So that's how this is all going to go. We're going to hold this together and hope that that little tab doesn't shift. You'll notice that I have paper going out this end and coming out this end, which is okay. Don't panic. That's an okay thing to have. You just can't have it coming out the sides. The edges are fine. The sides are not fine. It won't actually roll through if you try to do it that way. It'll rip your paper to shreds. All right. I'm trying to get this all on here a minute. Okay, so like I told you not to do, it shifted a little. And so my one flower ended up on the bevel. And so it didn't cut the very end of it. So I had to run it through again. That's okay. These are all going to come pre-cut for you anyway. Unless you come to in-person class, which I prefer everybody learns to do their own thing. So the in-person classes are great because you get your hands on all of the tools and I teach you the right way to use them. And just cleaning up this mess here. All right, so all the scraps are over there. I wanted to get this tag and it was easier to cut everything all at once. So we're going to stamp on here because when I put the linen thread on, I want it to be, I want the linen thread to go through here. And so I need to have my tag ready to put on the linen thread. Does that make sense? All right. Can you see what I'm doing? And we're wonky. I got this new stand for my camera, and I'm not sure it's great. It keeps moving on me. So here's one of the smaller. I told you there are a few smaller sentiments that come with this stamp set. The other, there's one that says hugs too, which is really nice. But, you know, after a point, you just don't want to keep using the same ones. All right, so I'm going to thread my, let's go this way, I think. I'm going to thread that through there. I'm going to add some glue. Set this aside. Move these aside. I'm going to add glue just between the two score lines. Unless the glue decided to gum up. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this in here and close this up. And I want it to be in the center. All right. I need this to come up higher, so I'm going to pull a little bit of that up. And then this is going to come down. I guess, you know what? I kind of wanted it on this one. Guess it doesn't matter. We could have just centered the linen thread right this way across it and then closed it up, because that's kind of what I'm getting to right now anyway. All right, we're going to tie it first, the first time. And if it's easier for you to tie it in a knot this time, that's fine too. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're only tying a knot anyway, so it's not like you need all the fingers to tie a bow, but this is probably going to be the easiest. And then we'll thread this on and do another half knot at least. I'll probably do a full knot because I don't want it to come out. That, and then one more. Come on. All right. And I'm going to just trim these up a bit too, because I can. I don't like when they're not the same length. So I always end up trimming them just to make sure they're the same length. All right, so we've got that going on, and we want it to be floppy. So then we're going to put our big flower down, and I'm not going to put glue all the way around the edges because I want to be able to tuck some flowers in there. So and besides that, you really just don't need that much glue. All right, just a little bit. So what I'm trying to do here is center this within this square, if that makes sense. And then again, I'm holding this down because it popped up. Again, I'm going to use my bone folder and try to curl this one a little bit. If you start kind of in the middle of the folder, if the middle, whatever the project is, the flower, and then pull, and then just keep starting from the center and pulling outward, it breaks down the fibers in the cardstock, because this is really thick cardstock. This does not have a white core in it, so it's really thick and it's beautiful, which is awesome. But like I said, it's thick, so I don't know what that is. I forgot to cut out my centers, so I'm going to run this back through again just a second. There are 2 centers on the one die, which is handy. So of course you'll only need one set of 2. And of course I stuck to the plate. I am just having a rough time today, aren't I? All right, so you get 2 out of the one die. And we're going to put this right in the center of the pink flower. I thought it'd be easier to put it on and center it before I glue the the Melon Mambo flower down so that I can eyeball it and move it around a little bit. And then again, like on the last one, I'm only going to put some glue in the center, or you could use a glue dot if you wish. All right, and then what we have are leaves. And I found the best way to do this is to just put a little dab of glue on the back corner right here. A little dab of glue. There we go. And then tuck them in. And so I've got one tucked there. I mean, it makes 6. One set of these makes 6, which I probably will just end up sending you two full sets, so you'll have plenty. If you want to put some more leaves on yours, you are certainly welcome to. And then we'll put some down here. So I'm just lifting up the corner just a little bit. And adjusting where I want them. I have not found, you know, some leaves are like thinner at the top. I have not found that these are like that. So I don't know that it matters, like which is the top and which is the bottom, if you know what I mean. All right. So I think that's everything for this one. Make sure I look at the inside and see what I did right or wrong. That's cool. All right. Let me stand back up and maneuver this now that I've got it all crooked, wonky again. I think it's got to be when I hit the desk. Darn desk. I had to sit down for that one though. So I want to thank you for spending an hour-ish with me, and I hope to see you again next month. Thanks for watching.